University, and the University Students Association of Ghana has rejected a 70% increment in public university fees. The association has also described as insensitive the rate of increment in public university fees. According to USAG, although Parliament has approved 15% increment in the public university fees, some public universities have gone ahead to release provisional school fees for the 2022-2023 academic year, increased by 70%. USAG says due to the current economic conditions, the later 70% increment could result in students dropping out of school. So we'll stand a bit further on this story, and the General Secretary of the University Students Association of Ghana, Joshua K. Ope, joins us for a conversation. Joshua, if you can hear me, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Newsbeat.
Good afternoon to you as well. Thank you very much, and a good afternoon to all your listeners as well. And just a quick correction. I'm with the National Union of Ghana Students, the General Secretary for the National Union of Ghana Students, NUCS.
Right. Thank you for that correction. Now, we expect that it is actually highly expected that an increment in fees is going to be a huge concern to students. What exactly has been the conversation going on, maybe within NUCS and the students' body itself?
Yes. So that's quite an unfortunate piece of news that we woke up to somewhere last week when fee schedules were released, because I think over the course of the period we've had a lot of engagement on school fees and school fees related issues, because there had been indications that Parliament has approved the Fees and Charges Act 2020, which enables universities to have like a 15% increment. It was something that we were very reluctant to accept, because we felt that the times were very hard and economically didn't make sense to make such increments. We also felt that it was going to open the floodgates for most of these universities to actually even go further and extend it and be all over the place. But we received continuous assurances that when eventually the fees are released, they are going to comply by the 15%, etc. So it was very unfortunate that we would come in and then we would see universities increasing fees as much as 70% for some institutions across board. You realize that in the economic circumstance we all find ourselves in, it becomes quite very difficult if you try to make students pay such huge amounts of money. And it becomes even more unfortunate when you look at the historical precedents of university education fee payment, because when you go back into the 1990s, where we're talking about the first time the cost-sharing approach or the first time the cost-sharing system was introduced, when students were being talked into accepting it, there was some kind of agreement between government and the tertiary university student fraternity that when it comes to tertiary education, government is going to bear a huge part of the cost, where the students also bear just a little bit part of it, because it was a 70-30 agreement. That's the Akotomo Accord.
So when in terms of, Joshua, in terms of costs, we also know, I mean, previously, I think last week, that two halls, senior members of two halls at the University of Ghana were asked to, get a hostel outside, that's off campus, which means that it was going to add on to their cost of education, and this was linked to the skirmishes that happened before the school went on vacation. Does this also apply to other universities like KNUST, because also skirmishes were recorded there before they went on vacation? Does it apply to all the students? And also that is definitely going to compound your problems, including the fees, right?
Yes. So when you go into the University of Ghana issue, for instance, the issue about the two halls is just for those selected two halls, and we have already reached out to our representatives at the University of Ghana to ensure. So in the coming days, we are going to ensure that we put things together to them as well on that particular regard, because when you are pushing the student out of the traditional halls, there's that kind of cost discrepancy. They are making an argument about the fact that the students already are being surcharged to pay 1,000 Ghana cedis. I mean, the University of Ghana whole issue is a whole incident on its own, isolated even from the school fees issue in itself, because University of Ghana equally has released exorbitant fees. They first released a provisional one, and then they went ahead again to increase, which is far above the university's 15% that has been approved by Parliament. And so the 15% is the general issue that we are talking about. But when it comes to the issues about the classes, where the University of Ghana has gone ahead to pronounce such punishment, even though there is a clear indication that their investigations hadn't even gone through, and also combining a whole group of students and punishing them when you've not even been able to identify that A, B, and C, and D. I think it even goes against the principles for which a punishment is meted out. I think we all took part in our social studies examinations and courses, and we understand what indeed a punishment is supposed to do. So when you are combining people who you don't even have real facts if they were involved or not, and you are punishing all of them, we feel that that punishment is too harsh and quite unfair to those students. But then even aside that punishment they are giving them, we are talking about a general increment in the fees schedules that they are released, including University of Ghana, KNUST, UMAT, going far above the 15% that Parliament has approved. And we feel that it is intentionally pushing students out of school, because when you look at a time when you are having this local debt exchange program affecting investments, and you know that a lot of students have their parents or the students themselves having their monies in investments, and so it means that now their investments are being marked to market. They are obviously their expectation or projections that by January they would have had this amount of money is already not going to be met, right. And you're also increasing this fees significantly. It means that you are intentionally pushing these students out of school.
We expect more work from you on the NUCS committee. We know that you probably will do something to assist your colleagues, and that is Joshua Ope, who's the General Secretary of NUCS, will be dealing with that also subsequently when some more updates come in.